The silence at the village's threshold. As summer vacations began, Rahul said to his best friend Amit, "Bro, this time roaming around malls and cafes in the city won't be any fun. Let's go to the village instead. We'll get some peace, fresh air, and the real countryside life." Amit laughed. "In the village, there'll be power cuts, mosquitoes biting everywhere, and you'll say, 'Bro, this is the real adventure.' But fine, let's go. I'll listen to you this time." Both picked up their bags and boarded an old bus that rattled its way through stony roads, jerking them left and right until it finally reached the village. The bus stopped at the outskirts, and they began walking inside on foot. The moment they crossed the boundary of the village, an eerie silence surrounded them. The dusty path was lined with dried trees on both sides. A few houses had their doors half open, but no one was outside. The wind was faint, carrying with it a strange earthy smell. Wiping sweat off his forehead, Amit muttered, "Yaar, isn't this village too quiet? In the city, even graveyards aren't this silent." Rahu smiled. "Coward, this is peace. Got it? No honking, no fights, just silence. And sometimes, silence is the most beautiful thing of all." But the truth was, even Rahul felt slightly uneasy, as if invisible eyes were following them in that silence. They reached the village square where an old man sat, holding a hookah, deep weariness in his eyes. Hearing their footsteps, he raised his head and frowned. "You are from the city?" His voice was heavy and rough. "Yes, uncle. We've come to spend the holidays," Rahul replied respectfully. The old man took a long puff, released smoke into the air, and slowly said, "Stay away from the pond and don't go out at night." Amit laughed. "Great, we just set foot in the village and already got our first horror warning." Rahul joked along. "Yeah bro, looks like even Netflix ghosts have shifted to the village." Both burst into laughter, but the old man's face remained unchanged. His eyes were bloodshot, filled with the grave seriousness. It wasn't a joke. He was hinting at some hidden truth. By evening, a farmer offered them shelter in his mud house. The walls had old photographs and a lantern burned in the courtyard. The women served them food, hot millet bread and lentils. Rahul said while eating, "Bro, you'll never find food like this even in a 5-star hotel." Amit chuckled. "Yeah, plus free mosquito service." After dinner, they lay on cots in the courtyard. Above them, the sky was filled with stars, so clear that Rahul whispered, "In the city, we've forgotten what stars even look like. Here, it feels as if the sky itself is talking." Slowly, the entire village drifted to sleep. Silence prevailed everywhere. Far away, a dog barked, then suddenly went quiet. As the night deepened, Amit turned and whispered, "Rahul, that old man looked truly scared. The moment he mentioned the pond, his face turned pale. Something is definitely wrong." Rahul shrugged. "Bro, every village has its horror story. Some say witch, some say spirit, some say demon, but nothing ever happens. People just make up stories to scare others." But just then, a gust of wind blew. The lantern's flame flickered violently, almost dying out. Leaves rustled on the trees, and it felt as if someone in the darkness had let out a faint, chilling laugh. Amit sat up with a start. "Did you hear that? Someone laughed." Rahul scanned the darkness. Everything looked normal. "You're imagining things." But deep inside, both of them felt a cold shiver crawl through their hearts. That first touch of fear lingered around them like an unseen shadow in the night. The morning sun peeked through light clouds. Children played in the dusty lanes, and a few women were drawing water from the well. Rahul and Amit set out to explore the village, both full of excitement. "Bro, today let's roam the whole village. Temple, pond, fields, everything. And we'll click pictures too. When I upload them on Instagram, the city folks will be jealous," Rahul said, lifting his camera. Amit laughed. "Village air and you're still stuck with Instagram." Just then, suddenly, a girl appeared from around the corner. She wore a white salwar, her long hair loose, and her smile innocent. Rahul froze in his tracks. Her face was so pure and beautiful, it was as if an angel had descended from the skies. "Hi, My name is Rahul and this is my friend Amit. We've come here for the holidays. We'd love to see the village. Rahul said nervously. The girl smiled softly. Namaste. I am Saroja, she whispered. You two are new here, right? Yes, Amit replied. Saroja lowered her voice. Then come, I'll show you around. Rahul and Amit were surprised. They hadn't expected anyone in the village to so readily guide them. The three began walking together. First, Saroja took them to the village temple. The temple was old, its walls cracked, and a peepal tree stood before it. The bell swayed lightly in the breeze, ringing on their own. Rahul clicked a photo and Saroja laughed. Even such ancient places look so beautiful in pictures, don't they? Then they reached the school. Broken windows, empty classrooms, and an unfinished sentence still written on the blackboard. Saroja said quietly, "This is where I studied." You?
Saroja smiled but said nothing. Amit found her words strange but brushed it off as normal talk. Later, Saroja led them to a farmer's house. The farmer treated them kindly and served thick rotis, lentils and chutney. Rahul said while eating, "Wow, this taste, you'll never find it in the city." The farmer smiled and Amit nodded in agreement. That night, as they returned, Amit whispered, "Did you notice, bro? The villagers looked at us as if we were walking alone. But Saroja was with us." Rahul chuckled. "Maybe they just feel awkward seeing city people. You're overthinking." By evening, Saroja took them to an old mansion at the edge of the village. It was broken down, cobwebs hanging from the roof, the wooden door half collapsed. "I used to play her often," Saroja whispered. Rahul took out his camera. "Come on, let's take a group photo." He set the timer, placed the camera on the tripod, and the three of them stood together. Click. Rahul smiled. "Look, the photo came out great." Amit grabbed the camera, but it slipped from his hands and broke. "What happened? Did the photo come out bad?" Saroja asked. "The camera's broken," Rahul muttered. Night deepened. The wind grew colder, the silence heavier. As they walked back, Amit said softly, "Something's wrong. That girl, Saroja." Rahul's voice trembled. "I don't know, but when she's near, it feels like the whole world is beautiful. Without her, everything feels empty." Amit fell silent, fear and suspicion growing inside him. He began to feel this was no ordinary girl, but something else. And that very night, Saroja stood outside the window. Her eyes locked directly on Rahul. "Tomorrow night, I'll show you the pond," she whispered.
It was night. The full moon shone above, its reflection falling on the pond, making it look even more mysterious. Ripples spread across the water as if an unseen hand had gently disturbed the surface. All around was silence, only the sound of crickets and the cold breeze rising from the pond. Rahul and Amit were exhausted from a whole day of roaming. After showing them the old temple and school, Saroja had promised to take them to the pond. Saroja, smiling, "Come, I'll show you the most beautiful place in this village. At night, this pond looks even more magical." Amit laughed. "You are like a tour guide. Did you take up a contract to show us the whole village?" Rahul stayed quiet. His eyes kept drifting to Saroja. Her laughter, her walk, her face, everything felt like a dream to him. The three sat down by the pond. The silence was so deep they could hear their own heartbeats. The moon's reflection trembled in the dark waters. Saroja whispered, "Rahul, look at this water. So deep. Sometimes it feels like it hides secrets. Secrets only visible to those who truly look into it." Rahul gazed into the water, entranced. "You're right. It feels like the pond is calling to us." Amit scoffed to lighten the mood. "What nonsense! Is this some kind of magic mirror? Calling? You've gone completely filmy." Saroja's eyes locked on Rahul's. "Yes, Rahul, the pond is calling. Only you can hear it." Rahul froze. In his ears, a strange voice echoed from the depths of the pond, calling his name. "Rahul." He jolted, looking around.
But no one was there, just the dark, endless water. Amit felt uneasy. Let's go, Rahul. It's late. We should head back.
But Rahul seemed hypnotized. Don't you hear it, Amit? Someone is calling me. His voice trembled. Suddenly, bubbles began rising on the pond's surface, as if something was emerging from below. Amit saw it and his throat went dry. Rahul, step back! What the hell is that? But Rahul was already leaning dangerously close to the edge, his eyes fixed on the disturbance. And then, from the water, burst out a rotten, slimy green arm. A stench of decaying flesh filled the air. The arm wrapped around Rahul's leg with crushing force, dragging him toward the water. Pray!
Ah! Rahul's scream tore through the silence. Amit cried out in panic, Rahul, let him go! Whoever you are, let him go! But the arm was too strong. Rahul's nails clawed the soil as he was dragged across the ground, leaving deep marks behind. Saroja just stood there, watching silently. Her face showed no fear, only a strange, eerie smile. Amit shook her. Do something! Don't just stand there! He lunged forward to grab Rahul, but just then another hand shot out of the water, grotesque, clawed, and it wrapped around Rahul's chest. Rahul's scream pierced the night. Amit, save me! Don't let me go! Amit pulled with all his strength. No, Rahul, you won't go! Leave him! Leave him! But the next moment, the water demon, the Pandubba, emerged in full form, its body bloated, covered in mud, eyes glowing red, and rotten blood dripping from its mouth. With one brutal jerk, it dragged Rahul into the depths of the pond. Rahul! Amit's scream echoed through the night. And then, silence. The pond was calm again, as if nothing had happened. Only a faint red stain floated on the surface. Amit collapsed at the bank, trembling, gasping for breath. Rahul's scream still echoed in his ears. Saroja placed a hand on his shoulder and whispered, Come, Amit. They won't spare us either. The two ran toward the temple. Amit's breath grew ragged, his body shaking. As they reached the temple, he collapsed. Saroja leaned over him, her hand still on his shoulder. Amit's voice cracked in terror. What was that? Who took Rahul? Why did this happen? Saroja said nothing. Her smile looked darker, more terrifying in the shadows. Amit fainted on the spot, lost in fear and shock. The village sank into a deeper silence. But in the pond's depths, something stirred again, as if it had just found a new prey.
The morning sun spread golden light over the village pond. A thin mist still floated above the water's surface. The chirping of birds and the distant ringing of temple bells made the atmosphere peaceful. But amidst this calm, the sight of a young man lying on the ground made the villagers' blood run cold. Near the temple, covered in mud, his face pale and lifeless, Amit lay unconscious. Hey, isn't this the city boy? An old farmer cried. Where's his friend? Another man asked, bending down beside him. Some villagers lifted Amit onto their shoulders and carried him to the village square. With splashes of cold water, sunlight, and a few herbal medicines, Amit's breathing slowly steadied. His lips trembled as he opened his eyes. Rahul. His first words came out broken. Yes, son, tell us, where is your friend? A villager asked anxiously. The terror of the night still flickered in Amit's eyes. His throat was parched. With a trembling voice, he said, Rahul, in the pond. That pond, the water spirits, the Pandubba, dragged him down and killed him. The villagers stared at one another in shock. Silence and fear spread across their faces. Nobody dismissed Amit's words as a joke because every soul in that village had heard the dark legend of that pond. The water's Pandubba, an old man whispered, has awakened once again.
Amit broke into sobs, screaming, But where is Saroja? She was with me too. She's safe, right? Tell me, where is Saroja? His words froze the entire square into silence.
The villagers exchanged looks, as if he had uttered something forbidding. Who? Saroja? Son, what are you saying? We all saw you wandering alone. Yes, you and your friend Rahul, just the two of you. There was no third girl with you. Amit's face turned deathly pale, drained of both fear and disbelief. With anger and desperation, he shouted, "No, she was with us. Rahul and I, we explored the village with her. She took us to the temple, showed us the school, led us to the pond. We even ate with her. Are you all insane? She was with me." The villagers remained silent, though terror was written across their faces. Some old women began whispering. Then, an old man, his eyes heavy with sorrow, stepped forward and said,
Son, the Saroja you speak of, she was the daughter of this village many years ago. But now she exists only as a spirit. No one in this village can see her except those whose deaths are tied to that pond. A chill like ice water surged through Amit's veins. Goosebumps rose across his body. What are you saying? No, she laughed, she spoke, she touched my shoulder. We even took pictures with her. He quickly pulled out his phone, but when he opened the gallery, his eyes widened in horror. Where he remembered standing with Rahul and Saroja, there were only two figures in every photo, Amit and Rahul. The space where Saroja should have been was nothing but emptiness, sometimes a blurred shadow, sometimes just darkness. The phone slipped from his trembling hands. His entire body shook. The villagers slowly stepped back as though an ominous shadow was gathering around Amit. The old man whispered, Saroja has been dead for a long time, son. No one in this village can see her except those whose deaths are tied to that pond. Amit's lips quivered as he asked, Then what about me? The old man lowered his eyes. He gave no answer. His gaze drifted toward the pond, where the sunlight shimmered upon the water, yet beneath that shimmer, a dark shadow seemed to stir in the depths. Amit's heartbeat thundered in his chest. Now he knew who was haunting him, Saroja's spirit and the Pandubba. And once again, Amit collapsed into unconsciousness.
Amit somehow escaped the village and returned to the city. The walls of his house were still the same, but inside, everything felt empty. His dearest friend Rahul would never come back again. Every night, he could hear Rahul's laughter, his words, and the echo of his scream as he drowned near the pond. Sometimes, when Amit looked into the mirror, he saw a faint shadow behind him, Rahul's tearful eyes and Saroja's hand resting on his shoulder. Amit had understood the truth. He hadn't just lost his friend, but Rahul's soul was now forever bound to that cursed pond. And perhaps the next turn was his.